afternoon. Welcome to Korea This Week. I'm your host, Sang Kim, and today we have Junil Kim, our Senior Manager for Operation and Technology with us. Welcome for joining us, Junil. Sorry.
No, of course, it's my pleasure, Sang.
Great. So it's really hot in DC these days. All of a sudden, it feels like summer already. So let's get started with the news for this week. So not much of progress has been made in the U.S. North Korea front past few weeks, but there are some movements, or at least an effort to move forward on the inter-Korean side. So we'll cover some of that you've seen on the news lately. So most recently, the Ministry of Unification made a briefing or a statement on the news, included saying basically two main things. One is that South Koreans are in talks with North Korea to allow businessmen to visit Kaesong Industrial Complex. As you may know, that was shut down very quickly at the last minute in 2016. So those businesses they have their investments, their factories up there that they don't have access to. So nearly 200 businessmen want to visit, and they have been they multiple times they requested to visit there. So where are we on this? So based on what we know so far.
Yeah, so I'll dial it back a bit just to give some background information of the current situation. So the Kaesong Industrial Complex, this is one of the products that came out of the first round of the Sunshine Policy that happened in the early 2000s. It was South Korea's efforts to try to work with North Korea in order to open them up. The Kaesong Industrial Complex is a joint venture between North Korea and South Korea, where South Korea's businesses established some factories that it can use North Korean labor to produce products.
Right.
So it was started in operation in 2004, and they shuttered their doors in early 2016 under the previous South Korean administration, under Park Geun-hye, due to North Korean provocations. Basically, things were escalating, and South Korea decided that in order to respond to those provocations, that we're going to shut down the complex. Since then, in the 3 years since, operations have not resumed in the Kaesong Industrial Complex. With the election of Moon Jae-in, there was renewed hope that we could reopen the complex, and also the Mount Kumgang area for tourists, which is also another joint venture between South Korea and North Korea. But despite this group of business leaders, there are about 200 or so, they've made multiple attempts, I think 8 attempts prior to this one, to try to regain access because, like Singh mentioned, it's their investment. They're eager to revisit these factories that have been shut down for so long. But up until last week, they didn't gain approval until this past week on Friday, when they did get approval. And so from what we know right now is that South Korea has made attempts to consult with North Korea. We haven't heard anything about the North Korean response about what they want to do. One important note to mention is that during the 2019 New Year's address by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, he did mention that he was open to both the reopening of Kaesong and Mount Kumgang. So that shows at least at the very top level there's some willingness to work with South Korea in reopening these places. But we'll see. We don't know for right now.
Right. Just to make it clear, this does not mean they are ready to reopen Kaesong right now, because obviously that violates the UN security sanction. It's just more of, in the case that they might be reopening in the future, they wanted to see what the factories are like right now, what the conditions are, like what do they need to in order to prepare for the next step. So it's just like literally a visit to see what it's like.
It's the thing that you would hope to get the ball rolling so that eventually you would see reopen. Yeah, but that's not the commitment at all. It's just a visit is what they're proposing.
Right, but like Junil said, there's no, it has to be a both-way conversation, but it seems like North Korea is not responding at the moment on this. So we'll see where this goes from now on. And then the second major topic, we touched upon it a little bit last week. And last week I mentioned that the executive director of the World Food Program, David Beasley, visited South Korea to meet with President Moon Jae-in and also other senior officials in Seoul. So last Friday, South Korean government announced that it will provide 8 million humanitarian aid to North Korea to help with North Korea's pregnant women and children who are malnourished. So where does the 8 million come from, and where would it go?
Yeah, so the South Korean government is proposing to give $8 million of humanitarian aid to help support, like Steve mentioned, it's primarily children and nursing mothers. That's the main target of who you'd be helping. The actual breakdown is $4.5 million to help the World Food Program, which is a UN relief agency providing nutrient-rich food to North Korean hospitals and daycares. And the other $3.5 million would be for UNICEF, also another UN relief agency, supplying vaccines, medicine, things of that nature. And it's important to note for this situation that South Korea hasn't provided this type of humanitarian aid to North, or if they do provide aid, to North Korea, I think since 2010. The last time that they had proposed in sending aid was in 2017, but those were shot down after some of the ballistic missile launches that the tests that the North Korea had done in 2017 kind of dampened the expectations for that. So for the $8 million, this is happening in light of a lot of reports coming out of North Korea over a very significant drought, which is causing concerns over food shortages in North Korea. So these UN relief agencies have regularly petitioned for food in North Korea, but this is the first time that South Korea has officially announced that they would try to provide humanitarian aid. It's also important to note that they've notified North Korea of this, but from what we publicly know, North Korea hasn't responded to it yet. And unfortunately, like a lot of other humanitarian efforts, these things are kind of saddled with all the political expectations that are surrounding this. And so actually, I noticed one quote from a North Korean source that mentioned, I want to quote it directly, this is from the Rodong Shinmin, which is a newspaper run by the North Korea state agency. It says, aid has been a means of plunder for imperialists, basically saying that, like, oh, it sounds like it's a helpful thing, but there's always some sort of catch attached to it. So we'll see. But I think these two efforts, the one to provide aid to North Korea and to approve the visit for the business leaders to visit Kaesong, show the South Korean government's continued insistence to try to restart this peace process, which has kind of been lagging in the past few months, especially in light of this the Hanoi summit between the U.S. and North Korea. And as we've talked before as well, talks of a fourth inter-Korean summit have also surfaced as well. Right. So that South Korea is very much interested in trying to get the peace process going in using any avenue that it can, essentially.
Right. And of course, even with the food situation right now, there are disagreements among the experts on like how much North Korea actually needs. I've also seen articles where they said North Korea has over-exaggerated how much food they actually need. So there's still a debate going on, but it seems like they need food. They can't really produce foods for themselves at the moment. And it was really interesting that South Korean Unification of Ministry said that they are willing to provide humanitarian assistance to North Korea regardless of political situations. So it seems like the humanitarian aid is a separate issue aside from all the political issues going on.
Yeah, or that's how they would like to frame it, at least, because I think, unfortunately, that it's hard to completely separate political issues at times.
Yeah, but also President Moon is facing opposition regarding the food aid as well. So from the opposition party. Yeah. So there's still a lot of internal domestic issues along with the external political issues as well. So those are the main two news for this week. Is there anything that you'd like to mention for this week? Anything we should be aware of?
No, we do have some upcoming programs here at KI that I think a lot of people will be interested in.
Right, so we do have two upcoming events. We haven't sent the invitation out, but you'll be getting the email notice very shortly if you are on our mailing list. So next Thursday, we're having a very special documentary viewing. The title is called "The Children Gone to Children Gone to Poland." It's about North Korean war orphans who have been sent to Poland. So be on the lookout for the invitation, also on our website and Facebook as well. And then next Tuesday, June 4th, the week after next week, we're having an annual International Council on Korean Studies conference on different security challenges facing the Korean peninsula. So be on the lookout for that as well. So with that, I think that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. And obviously next week is a Memorial Day, so we won't be here on Monday. But on Tuesday, 2 p.m., we'll be back with more news related to Korea. Thank you.